Yo, yo, yo. We've got 10 likes already. Who's liking the stream? It's Baby Gang in the building. Shout out to Baby Gang. Y'all gonna hear about that when the tape drops. You can hear some music later on in the stream about Intermission. We got a lot of stuff to talk about right now. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. It's gonna be fresh and fit. This is parental advisory. Everything you hear on this podcast is my personal opinion, but if I say it, then most likely it's the truth. And the truth is reality, whether you choose to accept it or not. Whether you choose to accept isn't my issue, but you're here and you're going to listen. And the statistics in my analytics say that you listen for a good amount of time. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so by donating on Cash App. The reason that you're actually not looking at me right now is because my cell phone broke. My camera, my web streaming camera, which is my cell phone, is broken, partly due to me, partly due to error. I accepted the reality of my grievous mistake and the error that I made by my frustrations upon the accident that happened. But I would like to request you, if you would like to support this channel and see me talking live instead of seeing the picture, to donate on Cash App. You can do that by Cash App, whatever, Truth Seekers, TruthSeekers, Truth Seekers. No E at the end. Tonight's episode of Parental Advisory is once again about fresh and fit. If you're looking on the screen right now, I decided to look up the incidences that have been happening. Along with some very entertaining searches, you can see that Fresh and Fit have been kind of going at it for a while. And if you type in Fresh and Fit, Abba and Preach, the controversies start to pop up here. One of the videos is titled, "They Called Us Monkeys for 30 Minutes." Fresh and Fit claimed they ended our careers. Another video Abba and Preach put out called "The End of Fresh and Fit." That was 5 days ago. Make sure you're liking the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you in the building. Parental Advisory Podcast. Destiny reacted 6 days ago. Fresh and Fit nuke stream on Abba and Preach with Sneako and Zerka. There's a lot to talk about here, y'all. And, we have talked so traditionally about a lot of these issues, and we've kind of gone over some of these issues in a very broad communal value scope. And I say that kind of approaching from the racial issue. And it looks like the racial issue is going to be prevailing throughout this because the videos you're going to watch tonight are really trippy. And Fresh and Fit have some damage control that they need to do, and they will be having to do some serious damage control going in the future. Now, Fresh and Fit's main MO to kind of prove their superiority in masculinity is to embarrass and humiliate Abba and Preach. And one of the ways that they tried to do that was to dig up some of these videos of Abba and Preach, or Preach rather, dancing. And you're going to watch this on the screen. Forgive me if the music is too loud. This is Preach dancing in what it looks to be, Paris or something. And he's a pretty fluid gentleman. Looks, he's got the moves. Let's go ahead and pause it here and we'll ask a question. I do a poll, but I'm not going to do that right now. What do you think about the moves? Do you think that it's a bit too much? The comments seem to respond positively. You have to understand, Abba and Preach are what you would call a multicultural YouTube channel. They cover a vast array of people, topics, races, and for the most part in a very holistic and wholesome manner. They do this in a very natural way. Thank you. So the comments reverberated positivity, support, and for the overall, message of Abba and Preach's channel, it makes sense. What do you think of the moves? Is it a bit much? The manosphere would say that it's a bit much and that's not masculine. You have to understand that the manosphere and the gentleman that we're talking about tonight, Fresh and Fit, in the videos you're getting ready to see, purport the idea of masculinity being a certain type of way. Let's go ahead and dive into the videos right now.
Today's topic, I guess Fresh and Fit ended our career with last night's live stream.
Fans in the back, oh, fresh and fraud. Yo, Prince is like it looks like a boat.
You should see him build momentum. What the
Yo, every time this thing, I got a problem with you.
Imagine them.
Nigga looks like a monkey.
Preacher's over there looking like.
Now, they're calling Preach, the guy who just got done seeing Dance a few minutes ago, a monkey right now. If you look at the comment section or that $500 super chat, it's a picture of the avatar of a black lemur, and the username that donated $500 is named Black Lemur 2009. What is the 2009? I assume it's the year he graduated high school. It's the same year I graduated high school, actually. And the emoji or the message that was sent with this $500 super chat was one of a black man in a chef's hat, which I don't know what the idea of this is, but Myron's wearing a chef hat on the screen right now as well. I guess this is somehow to get at Abby and Preach and embarrass them in some type of way. But this is, I want to once again put at the forefront of your cortex the leaders of masculinity and the proportion, or the purveyors, I don't know, I'll make up a word here, proportioners of what it is to be alpha and masculine. This is the epitome, fresh and fit, okay? Over 1.3 million subscribers still. And this is the best way that they could figure out to get back at Abba and Preach for a video that you're going to watch here in a little bit.
Like Magilla Gorilla and Donkey Kong having a baby.
Now, they're talking about black men in a certain way that, you know, they look like apes and they look like monkeys, and that's cool and that's fine and dandy. Again, this is the Parental Advisory Podcast, so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here. More than likely, Fresh and Fit are going to watch this podcast because a lot of the big name people watch my podcast because I'm a pretty damn good podcaster and I'm a smart guy. So they're going to probably see this, and Fresh, who's the guy on the right-hand side here, is most likely going to watch this. And this is Myron here, who's scratching his butt, apparently, in insult, as another $50 super chat from what appears to be a black man who looks somewhat like an ape himself, if I'm being completely honest with you. He's even flexing like an ape. His name's Tri-Eye Vision. I don't know if black men are celebrating their representation or misrepresentation of apehood. I'm just thrown off a bit by black men at times. However, this is what we have to work with as the epitome of masculinity. We have two white men, or rather a white man and a Latino man at the table, or wearing a chef hat, as black men decide to epitomize the idea of the stereotypical Negroid in a fact that where now it's being uncomfortable for the Mexican man, where he said, what the F, what's going on here? If you rewind this again, check it out. Myron's swarming around the room, and I understand, don't get it twisted. Like, I want to be really honest about this. I've gotten so emotionally upset at times where I feel like I could almost go into this type of rage as well. However, I would never do it at the fact or at the, significant despair of me criticizing myself as a monkey, right? There's a line that I draw, I guess, at my craziness, where I get that sometimes you really just want to let loose and you do go insane. Sometimes you just punch a hole in the wall, or whatever it might be. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm trying to give Fresh and Fit a little bit of leeway here, right? I'm trying to say that, hey, I get that the emotional thing that sometimes you try to claim that is narcissistically or manipulatively used against you. Oh, you shouldn't be emotional as a man. Well, okay, men can be emotional now. If we can replay this footage here, it's okay to be emotional. So we have to start redefining masculinity because Myron at this point is prancing around the stage, imitating what is his best friend across the table, at least the best representation of a friend that he has across the table, which is also the closest representation of what they are insulting as Myron prances across the stage, that in being a gorilla, as you listen to the sounds.
Yeah. No, reach, stop, reach, listen to me.
That these dudes have been talking shit for years. And I think the thing is that they've been kind of coasting on is you got to fight fire with fire.
And we're going to be nice guys. We're going to toss your salad, Abba. Bro, no.
We got some accessories.
All right. So once again, the sexual innuendos and the jokes, parental advisory, kids out of the room. This is the epitome of masculinity at this point. I don't know if tossing the salad is something that, is seen as funny, for the most part amongst the general majority of men. I don't joke around with a lot of guys, and you know what? I don't have a lot of guy friends. Y'all have heard me talk about this on the channel before. I just don't get down with the stupidity jokes like that. I just can't get down with retarded conversations. No offense to anybody or anything that's going on. What's going on? Oh yeah, I see. It's cool. I'm not tripping about that. Thank you though. Appreciate you, baby. I love you. And so I'm not really, that doesn't really bother me like that, right? I mean, it does bother me like that. So this is why I create my channel. This is why I have my message I have, because I just never vibe or get along with dudes like this to begin with. These dudes are lame and these dudes are losers. However, for them to be able to build a following up to 1-point-something odd million, and then for real dudes to have a very small following is just another mirror of, statistical realization of me seeing how I feel to be reality and not just insanity. And I think a lot of times when you go through life and you see the representation of how you feel online, or you see madness online being normalized in a lot of different political sides, maybe just the left side, where they're trying to normalize things like, children, and they're trying to normalize things like, drugs use, and they're trying to normalize things like crime, and they're trying to normalize these wild conceptions of utopia that is not a utopia. That's not how reality is supposed to be, but somehow this message has grown in support by the millions, and now all of a sudden you're a part of a political party and you're a Democrat, and you're like, well, why the hell can't we get some of these? What's going on? Why is the hood still where are the reparations? And you start whatever it might be, and you're voting for the same political party that you're marching in the streets claiming that you're under fire against, which is BLM. I don't understand it personally. I just don't understand it. In my head, if you can't beat them, join them. However, you join the side that's winning. Don't join a bunch of losers who are trying to normalize idiocracies on your dime. That just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to be normalizing idiocracy, make money from it. Don't just donate $400 million to a group of 7 people in the name of an organization. Figure out what the organization stands for. What is the organization about? What are these dudes about? What are the political, YouTuber, sociological, masculine alphas that you claim are the top dominants in the world by the millions of followerships and by the millions of dollars that you've sustained to their Miami ridiculous lifestyle? What exactly do they offer to the realm of masculinity that's going to help you personally? Now, there's some guys on YouTube that I've been watching as of lately who are in the manosphere, who really spit honest, real truth that can help guys that are going through tough situations with women, right? There are some guys out there who will need good advice from dudes because they're going through real situations with women. They're going through real legal battles with women. They're going through real court issues and real family issues. I acknowledge this, and we will be acknowledging this a lot more going forward, because there are guys out there that are really, truly getting screwed by a system, and they're doing everything that they can to make things better for themselves. But once again, we have this purveying issue of the madness or the wildness being the normalcy or the answer to a very abnormal situation, when in reality, it's nothing more than entertainment. Real viable solutions aren't going to be had from this. You will be able to possibly have a little bit of your anger, a little bit of your frustration, a little bit of your problems quelched while you watch Fresh and Fit kick out a group of random women who half of them admittedly, are in the adult industry, right? You will get a little bit of gratification mentally from that process, but a few hours later, you're going to wake up and you're still going to be going through a very detrimental process. This is when you need real advice, or maybe when you're going through real situations, you need real friends, where after you leave that little party that they throw for you after a loved one passes or something like that, you start to really, after a week goes by, 6 days to 2 weeks go by, and people start to not call as much, and you start to see the pain's not gone yet. You really start to count on real people who are going to stick around, who are going to sacrifice their time. You really understand what your need is at that time in their particular moment. Those are your best friends, as you call them, even though that term is thrown around pretty loosely. Those are your family members, right? Your extended family members. Sometimes those people can be non-blood related. A lot of the times they are, unfortunately, in 2023, right? But you start to realize that you need real-ass people and authenticity when the bullshit fades. When all those, hey, call me if you need anything. Hey, make yourself at home. Most of the time when you hear things like that, you probably can't make yourself at home, right? And I was just talking about this with Baby earlier. We were watching a TV show, and the lady was like, make yourself at home. Well, if I'm talking about making myself at home, I'm about to take a shower. I'm about to go, do you have any shirts I can wear? Do you have any socks I can wear? That's what I mean when I say make myself at home, right? But most people don't mean that as sincerely or as genuinely, right, as they mean it. And this is kind of the concept of the idea with the Fresh and Fit cast as well. Let's go on this video because, once again, I've only been a minute and a half into it, and we're going to continue with this narrative.
Yo, Reach, I don't even believe in this theory, but you got to evolve.
He's talking about evolving. This is crazy.
Whoa, you got to evolve, bro.
He's saying that preach has to evolve, right? Fresh is right at the table.
No, I'm not racist. I'm not racist.
He said, no, not racist. This is not racist. This is crazy. This is the coonery. This is the coon shit that niggas do, you know? This is the coon shit that niggas do. Once you start making enough money, you just let people just say whatever they want to on the channel. I don't know who this guy is. I guess he's an engineer. He's like, whatever. You know. We've seen it all on this channel.
What the fuck, you gay man? Yo, Reach, I don't even believe in this theory, but you gotta evolve. Whoa. You gotta evolve, bro. No. I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I'm half black.
Wow, man. Welcome to Fresh and Fit, motherfucker. We don't give a fuck.
If you guys didn't understand the stereotype,
That's crazy.
it's that black people are not evolved. And so he's saying Preach is an unevolved black person, essentially doing.
Pearly Things made an appearance. Boy, Pearly Things PR team is just Pearly Things is gonna be done in the next 6 months. Mark my words. But Pearly Things showed up, donated $100 to support. The word is that Pearly Things, and I don't know if they say it in the video, donated $300 total on the stream, and she donated 100 first time they didn't read her message, 100 the second time they didn't read her message. Then the third time she donated, they read her message, and this was the message that they're seeing now, or maybe it's not. I forget if they say that on the video, but yeah. Myron here is dressed up in braids, and I'm not sure what he's still. I think he's still doing the monkey thing, so. In the
islands, we say Bonabati man. Straight!
Do you boo boo? Do you boo boo? Oh yeah! I fucking preach! I wear lip windows for fun!
So this is Preach here, and it looks like Preach does ballet. All right. Once again, the second mental poll. Preach does ballet here. And he's on stage. This picture's on Facebook. Taken from April 24th, 2016. It's almost 10 years ago. What are we, 7 years ago? It's almost 10 years ago. And he's wearing the same attire as the woman, but I know ballet and in ballet, for the most part, you have to be able to be fluid or lucid and, do the twirls and everything like that. And I also want to be completely honest. Don't get it twisted. Preach most likely will knock a muff out if he tries to really test him, Apparently, Preach can box. Like, he's a boxer, too. I don't know. I don't know that to be true. But he said he could really knock somebody out. Like, he's not playing around. He challenged Fresh and Fit to a fight. He challenged Myron to a fight. And Myron said they didn't want to fight. Legitimately, straight up. Now, Myron is a FBI agent. So, if Myron doesn't want to fight, I'm sure he's been in a couple fights before. I'm sure he's been in a couple shootouts before. You're an FBI agent in Miami. He didn't want to fight Preach, but here he is mocking Preach, alluding to him being a monkey after denying a fight. This is Abba dancing on the screen. Abba's dance, I believe, is a little bit more acceptable for mainstream of the manosphere. Preach's dance didn't have any video to it. I don't know how long Myron intends on honestly going on with this. If you're not listening on or watching on video, he's literally still wearing braids and a braid wig and literally going crazy on stream right now. Like literally losing it on the stream. He's once again started circling the entire studio or the table that they usually do. It's a good table. It's got to be at least 8 by 8 feet, I'd say. Good circular table, possibly a 10 by 10. It's a good size. Maybe 16 by 16. And as I've been talking, giving you this entire description for the past 35 seconds, he's stopped and he sat down and started yelling into the mic. We can listen.
Reach, I could KO. That's in my language too, actually.
See, you need to put on a seatbelt screen.
Stop. Reach, I could sting animals. That's why they look like animals.
Jesus Christ. It's Parental Advisory Podcast. Make sure you leave a like. The comment we just left off right there is that's why they look like animals. Well, check it out. He feels how he feels. We're going to take a little intermission right now. We got some music coming up. I hope you enjoy this song. We'll be back in 1 second, all right? This is getting wild.
I'm an astronaut. I'm so hot that I can't picture up my socks. Gone. I'm not in the fashion. I buy blocks. Ask me what I spent a lot. I'm the flyest nigga in the spot. I feel like I'm flying in the drop. I had upgraded to the chop. Why? Go. They been sipping haterade a lot. I'm pressing forward, you can't let a hater stop, yeah. I've been getting paid cause haters watch. Naked wrist, I got no watch. In the gym, it throws your shots. Still hit harder than Nishignon. Don't have time for your issue now. I got something that gets you now. Need start grabbing your tissues now. Light talk, yeah, we gon' sit you down. Pop quiz, yeah, we gon' quiz you now. I used to call man my bro, I made a decision now. Rob that nigga, he's losing the vision now. Out of space, I'm an astronaut. I'm so hot that I can't fix it up, my socks gone. I'm not into fashion, I buy blocks. Ask me what I spent a lot. I'm the flyest nigga in the spot. I feel like I'm flying in the drop. I had upgraded to the chop. Why? Go. They been sipping haterade a lot.
Make sure you liking the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you liking the stream. That was Niggas in Space by none other than yourself. Myself. Who's yourself? Well, I mean, you know, I guess it is y'all too, because y'all with me, y'all the truth seekers. It's good to have Organic Black, the literal best mod in the world, in the building. It's good to have Laura Garrow, the literal best member in the world, in the building. Let's read some comments. Read some comments as my OBS is trying to crash on me. Make sure if you see those links, donate. You can. I appreciate y'all. I'm reading the comments. Let me see what I've been. This looks like y'all just talking in the comments right now, and I appreciate that. Getting back to this, I don't know if y'all heard, man, we got Coach Malik in the building. We got Sherelle in the building as well. The Minstrel Show pays. Yo, the Minstrel Show is getting ready to get crazier. We just left off on something that I didn't even hear before. Absolutely wild. Let's get into it.
These guys are fucking animals, bro. Dude, he fucking runs with all fours like a fucking animal.
So he's talking about I've been preach. Let's rewind this one more time. I know the view keeps changing. Just bear with it. Apologies.
I need to get the... That's in my language too, actually. See, you need to put on a seatbelt. Stop. Reach, I could KO you, but don't fucking throw that spear. These are disgusting animals. That's why
He said, don't throw that spear. Are they... Fresh is right across the table, who has definitive African features. Extreme African features. But in this context of how they're trying to reference it, Fresh would literally be the person that they're talking about right now. And there's no defense for him whatsoever. You know Fresh feels uncomfortable right now. This is overt racism. This is overt, at least, this is overt, no, I can't say racism, because racism I feel like is actual personal action, where like physical threat or actual action that's being taken against you. Right now, this is overt, like, I don't know. And you know, whatever the word might be, somebody throw the word out there. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. On live.
they look like animals. These guys are fucking animals, bro. Dude, he fucking runs with all fours like a fucking animal. Animals, bro. Dude, he fucking runs with all fours like a fucking animal.
Okay.
We're going to rewind and just get back to their part. Now, keep in mind, this is a 3-hour-long video. I'm just trying to get to the highlights to see what the highlights are. I'm not really trying to listen as much to Abba and Preach trying to talk their way through this entire thing for the most part. Abba and Preach are kind of boring in my opinion, and they really just don't have any type of ground that they take. They just are popularity type of YouTubers who make very general type of content to protect themselves and make sure that they keep their brand in a healthy type of manner. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want to do that, then that's what you can do. I believe that it's a lot better when you can have a good message that you can definitely 100%, 1,000% stand on and kind of carve your own way without burning, you know, through a bunch of others' lanes. But the red pill and the manosphere and the dating and the gender war thing is definitely mainstream. And going forward, it's going to be a lot more of these simplistic type of conversations where people build these wild platforms off of very basic conversations, very basic elements of the gender war that has already been touched on for nearly 2 decades, if not longer, through Tom Likas and other traditional mainstream media sources, starting in the late 80s, early 90s, to be honest with you, only to become digitized and infamously rise and translated to every other majority language or minority language around the world through things like Andrew Tate, through things like TikTok and whatever it might be. I mean, it's just exploded completely. And I think it's good to obviously acknowledge that there are good things that can come out of the defense of a lot of the issues that I think need to be defended. But I think a lot of the issues that need to be more pressed, which we will start doing here on this channel and talked about more honestly, will be at a disservice because there's such diluted or adulterated narratives, or maybe just non-researched, very political narratives that only look to keep sustaining or keep oneself popularized or at the forefront of the pop culture narrative, whatever that might be at the time. Right now, it's the gender war, right? We're going to take a look in or listen really quickly. We're going to be wrapping this up soon because I'm trying to keep these podcasts short, and I'm trying to keep these podcasts a lot more fluid and frequent going forward. Once again, apologies on the videos. This is a 2.5 hour long live stream. It looks like Myron's a lot more composed on this one. And he's explaining more what happened. I mean, it's a toss in the air as to where to drop in on this podcast. And I think this is still the old podcast here with this guy that was making the crazy remarks about they look like animals. I think this is him without the mask on, and this is him without the chef hat on.
Make it less awkward. I go, no, I didn't say that. You gay as fuck, Abba. You're blue.
All right. Well, language, parental advisory.
As fuck.
But here's the thing. You can see here we're laughing. We're having a conversation. Let's keep going, though, because they're not going to show everything, guys. Atmosphere is extremely important, which they always fail to show.
Yeah.
So they're trying to explain away, I guess, a lot of the issues that they're facing right now because they were facing a huge amount of backlash from a good amount of people. The comments were actually like really bad. And the comments, I think, are still pretty bad on this video. Now, I don't know if these are the comments that are actually from people who are Alba and Preacher supporters, because if you look on the right-hand side, the super chats are, normal for a Fresh and Fit issue. But the comments here that are the most liked are things saying like, imagine outing yourselves as racist in the most oblivious way possible. That's 5.1 thousand likes. Has Walter ever looked in the mirror? The whole show looked like Myron making fun of Walter, and that's what we were saying, right? Even people were recognizing that, right? It's not too hard to see. Almost 1,000 likes on that comment. Another comment at the top by Jamal Carpenter says, this is what you call a narcissistic meltdown. And this is the video of them explaining away the video of Myron prancing across the street and doing all this other stuff, trying to insult Abba and Preach. All the comments that are right at top, another one saying, I don't understand how you guys could have possibly thought this was a W or a win, W. Like, comma, I'm legitimately flabbergasted at this. 2,000 likes. 2,001 likes, thanks, because we like that as well here at the Truth Seekers. 5 days ago, another comment, Holy Husky said, same, Myron is honestly very emotional and egotistical. Somebody else said, what? They didn't even, I guess they don't understand the comment. But yeah, it's them trying to explain what's going on here. And the donations are, once again, support, but the top comments don't. Abba and Preacher have more subscribers than Fresh and Fit. They send the commenters over, not to mention that the commenters that Abba and Preach have, I think, are going to be a lot more active in YouTube in that type of manner. What's interesting to me is if we fast forward to this section, you're looking right now at the screen at the guy who was saying the really racial remarks and Fresh in the room doing an interview together, at least across the table. Myron is behind the screen, and I think they did this subconsciously to try and alleviate some of that racial tension that was most obviously built. This man on the left-hand side obviously doesn't like black people that much. It's not that hard to see. For being completely honest, we've been on, we've said some things on this channel to where they'd say I don't like, black guys as much, and I think that, to be completely honest, this is the reason why I don't like black guys so much, because this is fucking embarrassing, right? So, there's no man of any race that would sit here and talk, about like this to my face, right? It's just not going to happen, especially not on my own podcast. Jesus Christ. Talk about alpha, right? And so they try to put them in a room, and I guess they're going to squander this to try and work this out. Let's listen.
Hey, he knows how to play a narrative from the very beginning to the very end. However, integrity is not one of the things that he's good at. So at the same time, him saying to himself, oh yeah, I have integrity, I'm the emperor, wink, wink, with clothes on. He's saying in a nutshell that he's going to tell the truth to everybody. What happens is he lies with Preach, bro, about multitude of things. but he creates a narrative where it seems like it's the truth.
Oh, but hold on.
hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I actually want to take it back. That ugly fuck is not intelligent because he can't do this live. The editor is doing it.
Boom.
You think he can have this conversation live, not just with us, with
So now he's in complimentary form, right? He's complimenting Fresh and, trying to give Fresh what roses he hasn't incinerated by this moment in time. He's trying to, back up and say, oh, he can't do this. He's not as good as you. He's not this. He's not that. He's, for lack of intensive purposes, and earmuff it if you don't like kind of vulgar references, showering you with something that's not rain and telling you that it's rain, right? He's just, it's ultimate disrespect. It's ultimate just, humiliation to accept. And it's buck breaking in a certain sense, right? But for the dollar, we've seen in even maybe certain industries that's a prerogative. I don't know at that point what's going on in that industry. Well, hopefully we get there. Hopefully we get approached by something or somebody that's like, hey, you want to, figure out what's going on. And I'm listening. I don't want to hear too much because if you listen to too much, then they're like, oh, well, now you know too much. So I want to listen to a little bit because I'm curious, as we all are, right? As we all are. Some things to be curious about, some shouldn't. I'll let y'all know. I'll keep you informed, okay? As we peruse through this industry of entertainment here together. It's a late night on the Honest Truth Podcast, Parental Advisory Podcast, Episode 2, Fresh and Fit. I hope you've enjoyed this. I really have. There's a lot more we could say. There's a lot more we could do. But in the effort of time, and conserve time, which is money, ultimately, quite literally translating, we're going to wrap this thing on up. I want to thank you for joining this podcast. I want to thank you for supporting if you did donate. And I want to thank you for sticking with the podcast, all right? I almost had a good 10 minutes right there without a single verbal mess-up. You listen to these radio people, they don't slip a single time on their words. Do you know how incredibly difficult that is? To be entertaining, speak simplistic enough but complex enough to keep a minor or a majority listener base, depending on how big your demographic is, and not mess up on your words. It's tough, man. Respect to them. Respect to you and whatever you do. And I hope that whatever you do, you find pride and you find integrity, you find happiness in that. Sometimes we're in certain situations where we can't get that. Sometimes it's just very tough and we have to kind of grind our teeth and get through it for as long as we can. I understand that. Life can be a grind sometimes. But if you're going to grind, you want to at least make sure that you got good coffee beans, gosh dang it. All right? You want to at least make sure that you're getting a good process out of it. If you're going to work hard to get everything completely processed and taken care of, make sure that you got something that's going to take care of you at the end of the day and help you out, right? Look after yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your health. Most importantly, take care of your life. We talk about things a lot on this channel. The Parental Advisory Podcast is going to be the continued notion that you need to make sure that you vote appropriately and that you vote responsibly. You act responsibly and you act with emotional integrity and maturity, something I need to work on immeasurably. Admittedly, I have a very bad problem with my anger, and I have to do much better than that because sometimes I'm not far off from Myron. And the problem is sometimes when I'm right, a lot of the times I'm right. It's an issue. It's kind of the blessing and curse of being smart, I guess. You're right a lot. And sometimes when you're right, you're wrong. Sometimes the way I act, I can really shame the hell out of somebody, especially the people I claim to love the most, because I'm trying to prove a point so much. It's like, why are you trying to prove the point so badly? For what? If you're right, then the actions, the proof will be in the pudding. You'll have more respect from anybody, from everybody, enemies, friends alike, from doing the humble route and taking the humble route and just claiming your victory as it is. It'll always be more masculine, especially from a traditional masculine perspective, to take the humble route. And I've been preached we're much more humble. That's why they're going to ultimately win in that subscriber battle and in this battle. And that's why they're winning in the comment battle. Fresh and Fit are going to be able to make their money from it, but they're going to lose in the end. Like a lot of the Manosphere guys are going to lose in the end because they're too far extreme. More on that later. As I figure more things out, you'll figure more things out. Just know that everything we've said on this channel has happened. Manosphere content creators have gone to jail. More Manosphere content creators will go to jail. More security measures are being created every day to counter hate speech online. You can look it up for yourself now. You see, 2 years ago, we couldn't when we were talking on this podcast. 2 years ago, we were theorizing what was going to happen. Now you can look it up for yourself. Welcome to 2023. Welcome to the Parental Advisory Podcast. I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, be safe, be vigilant. If you can and you're able, carry a firearm responsibly. Vote pro 2A and vote to protect yourself, especially in the anti-2A areas where you're not supposed to be able to. When seconds count, police are minutes away. You get one chance to dance, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure your shoes are ready. I'll see you on the